What's up, guys? It's Cobalt Blue again. Now it's over the past few years I've been branded as a Spider-Man channel, particularly Spider-Man 3. Granted, my Christmas specials, the Venom Pumpkin, the Tangled Web of Spider-Man 3's marketing campaign, those are some of my favorite videos, but Spider-Man isn't the main focus anymore. But that doesn't mean there still won't be Spider-Man content, and that's what I bring for you today. Is everyone knows that I love Spider-Man 3 and the editor's cut. Some people who have been following me over the years probably still think I hate Amazing Spider-Man 2. And not many people really know what my favorite Spider-Man movies are. I love them all. I even love the dumbass Sony universe, the Venom movies, Madam Web, Morbius, and Craven. I still love those because I'm a dumbass human who likes shit movies. But when it comes to Spider-Man movies, I broke down 10. Technically, on my list there's 11, but it goes 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1. So that 1.5 will come up when we get to it. Coming in at number 10 is, I know this is gonna get me a lot of hate, and I don't fucking care. I still like this movie, but it's at the bottom of my list. Across the Spider-Verse. Now, when I first saw this movie, it was opening day. I had requested a day off of work, and I worked at the movie theater at the time. I had the entire lobby decorated in my entire Spider-Man collection, and it was awesome. People loved it. It got buzz around the town. I came to the premiere dressed as Peter B. Parker from the first one because I got a fucking gut, and it worked. It was a great magical time, and I liked the movie when I got out of there. And I've seen it a few times, and it's still a decent movie, but I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man animation on the big screen. When it comes to animation, especially involving Spider-Man, I would rather have it on a TV, a show, like the 90s animated series, Spectacular, Unlimited, that's what I was thinking of. Amazing Friends from the 80s, 70s, even the 60s show. I'd rather have Spider-Man animation be for television, and it looks like we got that with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but at this point I'll get into my thoughts on that in some other time. But the good things about Spider-Verse 2 that I really liked were a lot of the characters. Now, that is kind of a mixed aspect because for me, there were a shit ton of characters to keep track of. Granted, I loved Spider-Punk. I liked the evolution of Miles and Gwen from the first movie. I liked Peter with Mayday Parker, and fun fact, one of my best friends had his daughter on the day this movie came out, and he's basically my universe's version of Peter Parker because he's married and he has his daughter. But, I'm Uncle Cobalt to her, so, that's kind of a fun fact. The animation, it's still outstanding. It revolutionized. That's how we got movies like Puss in Boots 2, and I think maybe The Bad Guys. I've never seen The Bad Guys, but the animation is good. But in all honesty, compared to the first movie, there's just so much happening. It gives me a headache after I watch the movie. And the cliffhanger ending, it didn't piss me off then, and it still doesn't piss me off now, because I had a feeling halfway through the movie this felt like it was setting up to something more. It didn't feel like a complete story within this individual film. It felt like they were stretching it, kind of like what they were wanting to do with Spider-Man 3 back in the day. So that's basically how I feel on Spider-Verse 2. It's a decent movie, but at the end of the day, it gives me a headache with whiplash, epilepsy, I don't fucking know. It just gives me a headache. And a little lesser to a degree for the number 9 spot, and this is also gonna get me a lot of hate, Into the Spider-Verse. Now, the first time I watched this movie, I was blown away. I love the twist with, without spoilers, Olivia, Kingpin is sized like a fucking boulder. I don't know what the fuck was up with that. I like the appearance of Tombstone. I loved what they did with Peter B. Parker in this, and bonus points for the emo Peter dance in the first montage of the movie. I liked how Miles started as the tagging kid. You know, he's going into underground subways, doing things with his uncle, and then all of a sudden he evolves to learn how to become a Spider-Man to replace the one that was killed in this universe. So when the other Peter leaves, this Spider-Man will be for this New York. But still, sometimes the animation gives me a little bit of pain in my eyes, but it doesn't give me a full-blown headache. I liked Spider-Gwen. Noir was great. I wasn't too keen on SPDR, the robot anime girl, because I just don't like anime. Maybe she's a good character in the comics, I don't know. But anytime I see anime style, my brain just shuts off. I loved the reveal of Uncle Aaron as the Prowler because, like, spoilers, but, you know, I saw it coming, but the way they handled it was really good. Spider-Ham was alright, but I think most of his lines are just not funny. Plus, I just hate Spider-Ham's voice, the actor. Like, he voiced in, like, that Big Show mouth, and I just hate his voice. I can't stand it. I'm sorry, whatever his name is, I just don't like your voice. Overall, the first Spider-Verse comes in at number 9. Number 8, I am also gonna get hate for putting this above the Spider-Verse movies, but some people will appreciate that it's lower on the list. Number 8 is Far From Home. And Far From Home, yeah, I understand why a lot of people don't like it. Not really. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's a different type of Spider-Man movie in my eyes, because there's a lot of people that don't like that Peter wants to shirk his responsibilities as Spider-Man, stay in New York and protect, when he just wants to go off on the trip with MJ and hopefully tell her how he feels. Which, it's a realistic enough plot for a teenager in high school, and it's kind of believable. Like, Peter, got bit by the spider, recruited by Tony Stark, fought aliens in an invasion, he lost his life, and then all of a sudden was snapped back to fight more fucking aliens, and then all of a sudden his mentor died. Like, yeah, I can understand why Peter would want a break. My only problem with Peter in this movie, and a lot of people bring it up, is the Iron Boy Jr. type shit. It's not terrible, but in all honesty, I don't like Tom Holland's Peter Parker. He's a whiny kid with rich toys. He doesn't have to worry about his suits and shit unless I bring up some mentions. But I liked Mysterio. Before Far From Home came out, I never had a strong tie to the character of Mysterio because I thought he looked goofy. It wasn't until Jake Gyllenhaal was casted, I'm like, maybe, okay. First trailer came out, oh wow. And then it came out that he was gonna be a good guy helping Spider-Man fight the elementals. I'm like, oh shit, wait, what? Why? They're gonna fucking butcher him. And then I watched the movie and then I'm like, I'm a fucking dumbass. So I really liked the way Mysterio was handled, how he was hiding in the background, and so was Goots and fucking Dimitri somewhere else. But MJ and Peter's relationship, I think it works better than Toby and Kirsten Dunst, but not as well as Emma and Andrew, because Peter and Ned spend most of the first movie just brushing her off because he wants to go after Liz, and then all of a sudden his hormonal ass jumps Liz, and then after Liz leaves, he gets the first chance to hop on another girl that he likes with no lead-in. Last movie, she was just like, yeah, my people call me MJ, my friends call me MJ. This movie, Peter opens up, okay, I really like MJ now. I guess that can be accurate for how hormonal teenagers can be, but in all honesty, it's just, where's the connective tissue that got Peter to start liking MJ? I love Ned, he's still great. Nothing will ever come close to his line from the first movie, but I just have a decent enough time with Far From Home, but it came out at a weird time in my life, so I have mixed feelings on it. I also really like the idea of Spider-Man not being in New York and being in London, Italy, the Netherlands, Broeke or whatever that place was called. The only thing I don't really like is some of the CGI. In all honesty, it's inoffensive to me. I like it enough. Then at number 7, this, I don't know how people would feel about this, but number 7 is the first Amazing Spider-Man. Now, when I first saw it, I seen a downloaded version of this movie a few weeks after it came out in theaters in like that summer of 2012. It was on a computer at the library, and I loved it at first, but then a few years passed. I thought I was getting older and starting to understand that Tobey was better and shit like that. And then at some point I crowned Andrew's 2 movies as the worst movies I had ever seen, until maybe a few years back I had gave more leniency to this one over TASM 2. But now as it stands, I enjoy my time with this movie. There's a certain look to the first movie compared to the second movie. The second movie is very bright, vibrant, very clean. It's beautiful, but I like the gritty look mostly seen in the first movie, especially with shots involving nighttime or like the sunset. I like a lot of the homey feel scenes with Aunt May, Uncle Ben, and Peter all in the house, because it's just I like the vibe that the camera brings to the movie. I like the way it's shot, especially during the vigilante chase before Peter falls through the roof of that wrestling arena. Peter's vigilante suit, I know a lot of people don't like it, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't look very much like Spider-Man. It looks more like a prototype Deadpool outfit from like his first movie, but I still prefer Human Spider. Emma Stone, hands down one of the best actresses to play one of Spider-Man's love interests. She was in Zombieland, she was in Superbad, Easy A, La La Land. You know, she's a great actress. I love Emma Stone. And killing her off in the second movie, it's still heartbreaking. But the Lizard, I also really... I like the Lizard more than I dislike him, but there's still something I wish we had got the chance to see Dylan Baker in Spider-Man 4, 5, or even 6, whatever the plan was. And Rhys Ifans is passable as the Lizard. His English accent for the first time I watched this movie threw me for a loop because I didn't know what was going on with that. Not a big deal. And the CGI, I don't know what it was, but at the time, to me, the CGI looked awful. I don't know what it was, but the CGI looked awful. Nowadays, it looks fine. It looks great. The first two, Andrew's 2 movies, look on par. But yeah, I enjoy the first Amazing Spider-Man, but I do not enjoy the first Amazing Spider-Man more than No Way Home. No Way Home, I appreciate the more bold direction the movie takes, especially after Aunt May dies, because that felt closer to what I felt during some parts of Spider-Man 2 and 3, some of TASM 1 and 2. Because the first half, or at least before Aunt May dies, it feels very much just like the first 2 movies, which it's not bad, but still, the MCU jokes, him leaning on Doctor Strange, out of the 3 movies where Tom's working with someone else, that being either Iron Man, Mysterio, or Doctor Strange, I think I like Doctor Strange more than Iron Man or Mysterio, with Peter working with him, but it's still just a very boring plot device because Doctor Strange knows he's not supposed to mess with the fabric of time and reality, especially with that spell that Wong gives him not to do that spell, and then he just does it anyway. Sure, it can be argued that it's because Doctor Strange learned the lesson of not doing things for himself but for others in the first Doctor Strange movie, but still, doing things for creatures that mean almost nothing in the grand calculus of the multiverse. You should probably leave the multiverse alone and tell this rich kid with his rich toys, man the fuck up and deal it with yourself. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten a No Way Home movie. Outside of that, I loved the return of Alfred, Willem, Thomas Hayden Church, Jamie Foxx, and Risa Fons. Granted, Risa Fons and Thomas Hayden Church weren't on set, they provided voice. It was still nice to see them. I loved the soundbite of Electro's theme as he pops up. There was a lack of other music outside of like a sting from Green Goblin as he's saying, "Does a Spider-Man want to play?" and Doc Ock's theme as he says, "Hello, Peter." But outside of that, there's not many other musical cues. Maybe a few musical cues for Peter and Andrew. I think the music could have been done better, a little better. The CGI, some of it's shoddy in a few scenes, but others, it's really good. Like, the best example of the CGI is the integrated suit, because we had all the set leaks of the final battle, and he has the red and black suit from the last movie, and then the movie comes out and he has the integrated suit with the Iron Spider logo. I'm like, what the fuck? Did they do reshoots and use a different suit? And it came out that the suit was actually entirely CGI. I'm like, okay, they fucking got me. That's the best utilization of CGI for a Spider-Man suit in the MCU by far. MJ and Peter's relationship, I think it's the best it's been in the trilogy, but I still prefer Andrew and Emma. Ned, it's kind of funny how between the first two movies and then this one, he dropped all of that weight. And yes, I hope to follow. But it's still kind of funny. I wish Ned had a few better lines or jokes compared to the first movies, but you know, he's still the guy in the chair. The Green Goblin fight in the condo was great. The final battle with Toby, Andrew, Tom, all of them, amazing. What is it? How long is that final battle? Like 20, almost 30 minutes? Something like that? Fucking sick. I love this movie. Great time. And number 5, after No Way Home, it's Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, a year ago, if you had asked me what my top 10 Spider-Man movies were, this would have been at the bottom of the barrel. I would have said it was the worst movie of all time. I even made a video where I burned a copy of the movie. But in light of some events that happened to me last year, it actually moved up a lot. Don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of problems with the movie. But now, what is good in the movie outshines what I have problems with. Sure, maybe Electro's motivation is a little flimsy, Peter and Harry's friendship is flimsy. There's a lot of flimsy stuff in this movie, but the strongest aspect is the CGI, the camera work, the acting between Emma and Andrew, and the score. Those, I think, are enough to actually get me to enjoy the movie because it's basically the heart of the movie. All the others are basically just side plots like Aunt May doing medical school, stuff like that. And I think I like a lot of the humor compared to the first movie, but there are a few scenes where Spider-Man makes jokes and sacrifice of people's lives. You know, it's okay. Maybe that explains why Peter went on a dark path after he lost Andrew, because there was always still a part of him that needed to evolve. I don't know. But without going too deep into details, it wasn't really on my own accord that helped me like this movie, but it was the Calico, my bestie. You can see her remembrance book right here. You can see our Halloween selfie and her teddy bear. She passed away, and it very much reminded me of Andrew and Emma, And that's when I realized that there was a lot of maturity and willpower on Andrew's part to, like, he loved Emma, he loved Gwen, but he knew his life as Spider-Man would put her in danger. But she loved him so much that she didn't give a fuck. She loved him for him. And that sadly led to her end. Emma's death shocked me the first time, but it never made me cry until I revisited after Calico. So yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2 now holds a special place in my heart. And some of it's still flawed, but I still have a really decent time enjoying this movie. Number 4, Homecoming. I really like Homecoming because I think Homecoming was a good place to start before a lot of the Iron Boy Jr. type issues started to show up. I mean, Iron Man's still here. He still got the Stark suit. He was offered the Iron Spider suit at the end of this movie. But, you know, he wanted to do better because he knew he could do better. He wanted to help the little guy, be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But, you know, he wanted to do more. And then, feeling held back by Iron Man, he decides to go behind his back. And then he therefore has to learn the consequences of the hero he can be without Tony Stark's help. And I really like that idea. Ned, the first time I saw this movie, I had no idea that Ned was actually a cross between Ned Leeds' Hobgoblin and Genki from the Miles comics. I had no idea. I just thought he was basically a replacement for Harry Osborn. But after that, I grew to love Ned, especially his dumb line. Being the guy in the chair, he looks like me wearing a Spider-Man mask in that one clip. The action in Homecoming, it's very mild. You get Peter doing trips and flips and swings and kicks, and you know, it's fun, but the camera's very focused. It's very filmic. It's not cinematic, it feels filmic to me. Like, place the camera, capture all the action, and there we go. I really liked Michael Keaton's Vulture. I'm not a huge fan of Marvel, not a huge fan of DC or Batman, but I think I like Michael Keaton more as the Vulture than Batman, probably because I'm just biased towards Spider-Man. But Michael Keaton was really good. I loved his car scene. Good old Spider-Man. And then I'd say the best action sequence was the plane scene, the holographic plane scene towards the end of the movie. But overall, it's just a really fun, lighthearted Spider-Man movie. It's almost like they brought an episode of either Ultimate Spider-Man or Spectacular Spider-Man to a movie. And that's fun. It's fun. I heard someone describe the movie like a Disney Channel movie, and granted, I don't like Disney. I never watched Disney Channel as a kid, but I can kind of see it because I've seen clips of Disney Channel stuff. So it's a decent enough time. I like it. And next up, my top 3. Technically 4, but we'll get to that. Number 3 is the first Spider-Man movie. Came out a year before I was born, and the moment I was born, my mom raised me. She taught me how to read, she taught me how to draw, she taught me young, but she also wanted me to, she wanted to fill out my identity as a kid. You know, what would my son like? Cartoons, this type of thing, superheroes. And then for a while I loved The Incredibles as a kid, and I had a little bit of a Hulk phase. But ever since I was born, Spider-Man, especially the first movie, had a huge impact on me. You got Green Goblin, played by Willem Dafoe brilliantly, Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst, I think she's the best in this movie compared to Spider-Man 2 and 3. You get Joe Manganiello playing Flash Thompson, which everyone loves Joe, especially because he was supposed to be, Deathstroke at the end of Justice League or something? Can't tell you. The action, it's not on par with 2 and 3 because I think they were trying to get their footing into what they could do. But for the first outing for Spider-Man on the big screen, it's superb for the first time in like 2002. Even though I wasn't born then, it was superb. Some of the CGI every now and then, maybe it could have been better. But you know, it was 2002. It's an older movie. It's fun. You get Uncle Ben dying, the iconic origin of Spider-Man. You get really great heartfelt scenes with Aunt May. I am hoping for Rosemary Harris to make it to 100. That little old lady deserves it. She was on the sidelines with a picket fence during those protests a few years ago. And I gotta give respect to Rosemary Harris for that. She's an awesome lady. Sadly, Cliff Robertson died in 2011. But you also get other side characters like Hoffman, Betty Brant, Robbie Robertson. You get some involvement with MJ's dad across the street. I like some of it builds the world, and especially towards the end where the entire crowd is throwing shit at Green Goblin, which was, I think it had to do something with New Yorkers coming together after the attacks of 2001, if you catch my drift. And that's tender. I really enjoy that aspect. And then the action with the CGI and the choreography during like the Unity Day festival and you know other stuff like that, it's good. But my favorite is definitely the final battle in the abandoned hospital. Just pure choreography, stunt coordinating, people getting thrown around on wires, people doing trips, flips and shit. Someone gets collapsed by a wall. It's a great time. And then you have the iconic ending of, this is my gift, my curse. What am I? I'm Spider-Man. And then it goes into the end. It's beautiful. It gets me excited, giddy. It makes me want to jump off a building and land on my feet, if that makes sense. I promise I won't do that yet. So at number 3, we had Spider-Man. Number 2, probably no surprise, is Spider-Man 2. A big step up from the first movie. The action is better, the acting is better, the writing is a little better, the cinematography, the color grading is a lot better. Dr. Octopus is great, played by Alfred Molina. You got a lot of the returning cast, even Uncle Ben and Willem Dafoe. It's based, the first 3 Spider-Man movies are probably the most consistent Spider-Man movies when it comes to the cast. You get the brilliant train scene, you get the fusion reactor scenes, there's, you know, Peter gets his fucking ass kicked mentally, physically, and emotionally in this movie. Every single which way, he gets fucked over hard. And yeah, in your early 20s, that's kind of how it feels, but you know, it's a Spider-Man movie. It's based on a comic book. It's not real life. So, Spider-Man 2, what else can I really say about it? Everyone loves this movie. Half the world thinks this is the best Spider-Man movie. The other half probably thinks it's one of the Spider-Verse or something. But what else am I supposed to say? Everyone loves this movie. Here is my 1.5 slot. 1.5 is Spider-Man 3, the theatrical cut. Because I was there. I saw Spider-Man 3. Watch. Even though I had all my shit thrown out, I still have my book, the Spider-Man 3 novelization. And not only that, even though I lost my whole collection, I still have my Spider-Man 3 opening day ticket. The first time I met Calico last year, I made her give me a tattoo of the Spider-Man 3 opening day. I was there. I love Spider-Man 3. And it's probably thanks to nostalgia, and yeah, everyone's gonna get pissed off the moment you bring up nostalgia, but you know, I'm just gonna quote Eminem right here on the unreleased track Ritz.
Bitch, I'm feeling nostalgia. Suck my ball sack.
What's so wrong? I can defend Spider-Man 3. I can literally make a 200-page book on why I defend this movie, but that would just be too long. The action, it's the best it's ever been. The CGI, there's a few shots that could have been done better, but overall, it's the best CGI in the trilogy. I loved Sandman, his involvement with his daughter, trying to get the money for her. It's a little strange about him killing Uncle Ben, but it doesn't affect the story or plot of what made Spider-Man Spider-Man. His uncle was shot, he went out for revenge, and he thought he got it. The only different thing is who pulled the trigger. Sure, it may have been given to Flint just to make sure he had a personal connection to Peter, but still, it's not that big of a deal. Harry, I think they did well with Harry with what they gave him, but he just might be the weakest villain in the movie. Like, he has some of the best faces and lines in this movie, especially between him and Emo Peter. But I think the only thing I would have done differently with Harry is if he was faking his amnesia, which several years ago when I was still in middle school, high school, I had actually worked on my own Spider-Man 3 fan cut where I had added little music cues, like Green Goblin music cues, to where he says, "My best friends, I give my life to them." Or then, you know, I'd add these little things that subtly hint maybe things are not as they seem. I completely removed him remembering his father's legacy scene just so, holy shit, he was bad this whole fucking time. I think that would have made him a lot better. And then Venom, oh Jesus fucking Christ, everyone gets on Venom. I don't know where it is, but I have a collection called The Birth of Venom, like a graphic novel collection that documents the coming up of the symbiote as an organism, and then being retconned to be a fucking alien. And then I've read the Venom comics, I've read the Venom comics, and so far, Topher Grace, and I want to say Midnight Suns and Topher Grace Venom are probably some of the most accurate depictions of Venom we've had in recent times, probably since the 1994 animated series. But even then, a lot of what Eddie Brock became in Spider-Man 3 was borrowed from the 90s animated series. But then there's a lot of things in the 90s animated series that were changed from the comics. So it's like, you can't have everything perfect, but the closest to perfect we have is Topher Grace and Midnight Suns Venom. And now, my number one spot, Spider-Man 3 Editor's Cut. Now, granted, there's not too much very different about this. There's like 8 new scenes. They cut out a few, like 5 of them. There's a few musical changes, but they reorganized scenes in the second act to make it flow better, but to also help the symbiotic addiction metaphor with Peter. Like, you have the scenes where Peter's looking at the suit, and then he opens it. It's talking to him, and it's actually breathing. There's the shot where he's swinging throughout the daytime, which was in all the trailers, and then he goes back home, takes off the suit, drops it in the trunk. He looks fucking blasted because it's draining him. And then there's the alternate take where he says he's really gonna enjoy this. There's the sandcastle scene, although I think I would have placed the sandcastle scene between Peter calling MJ and the police department scene. As soon as Peter picks up the phone for the police talking to him, that's where I would place the sandcastle scene, because at the end he says, "I swear to you, he won't stop me again." There's the sand truck fight, then there's the dinner, Peter calling MJ, sandcastle fight, police department scene, which means after he gets stopped again by Spider-Man in the subway tunnel, that would give him a better motivation to take revenge on Spider-Man, because if we didn't have that connective tissue, he just wanted to go rob banks to save his daughter. But then all of a sudden he joins Venom for whatever reason. If they had just kept the sandcastle scene and placed it better in the movie, that would have worked better. I absolutely adore Christopher Young's Christopher Young's score in this movie, how they reinserted his old original score instead of just reusing Danny Elfman's, and especially how there was that song that was supposed to be on the soundtrack but never was, Black is the Color. And to bring up the Calico again, I introduced her to that song. She loved bands like My Chemical Romance, All American Rejects. You know, she liked that type of shit. 3 Days Grace. And when I showed it to her, she loved it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a Spider-Man song. And, you know, we were supposed to make a Spider-Man video last year, but that didn't happen. So, you know, that song, Christopher Young's score, beautiful. I love it. So between the editor's cut and Spider-Man 3 theatrical cut, the editor's cut is way better because it uses the original takes. Especially when I brought up the new Hot Toy Spider-Man, how people were complaining about his hair not being right. If you were actual fans of the movie, you would know where this shit comes from. How about this? Fun fact. The new Tobey Maguire head sculpt for the brand new Spider-Man 3 Hot Toys that just came out is utilizing images that were taken on the first shoot for Emo Peter scenes that can be seen in the editor's cut from 2017. But did you know the original Black Suit Spider-Man Hot Toys from 2011, that Peter Parker head utilized this promotional image? I bet nobody caught that. This is just a side tangent about like the new Hot Toys and then the Marvel Legends Emo Peter that just came out. Everyone loves these figures, they're cool. I love the suit. Emo Peter, great. Bully Maguire, fuck Bully Maguire, that's not his name, it's Emo Peter. And it's just like, motherfucker, all of you hated this movie 20 years ago. Now you want to come around and kiss its ass? No, fuck you. I like this movie too, but I was there. I love this movie from first day. I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole gatekeeper, but I just hate how it's never gonna change. It's how it goes. If something isn't liked 20 years later, it'll become gold. That's just how it goes. So, Spider-Man 3 Editor's Cut is my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. It is my favorite movie of all time. And I still intend on tying my whole living existence to the name of Spider-Man 3 successfully at least one day. So, that was my Spider-Man movie ranking. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your top 10 Spider-Man movies are in the comments below. If I sounded pissed off or angry or you didn't like the way I acted, I'm sorry, it's not my problem. I just made this video because I wanted to talk to you guys about Spider-Man shit. And it's like I said earlier, I do not hate any of these movies. I like more than others. I like every single one of them. So, some other point in a week or two, I might have a figure review. I might have another movie ranking. Who knows what happens? This is my channel. I do whatever the fuck I want. So, with everything out of the way, wrapped up, my name has been Cobalt Blue. And you just finished watching my Spider-Man 3 movie ranking. I'll see you some other time. Be on the lookout for more content, whatever comes out. Peace.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm
Ruko Bedangadek.